Friends, thank you for coming. This is a briefing on what had happened on the unfortunate incident in 20th February, in Malviya Nagar in South Delhi, involving a case of racial slur against three young women from Arunachal Pradesh. It is about that incident as well as to remind the rest of the country as well. It is not an isolated event. This had been a recurrent phenomenon for us, especially from the people of the Northeast. Been suffering from this. You have this infamous Neuro Tania case, if you recollect it. So it's been happening regularly. And I have talked to some of the officials in Delhi Police, and they have filed an FIR on this case. As a concerned citizen, as a representative from that region, my colleague Shupon Jamirzi is with me here. He is our NPCC president, party president from Nagaland, and also an honorable member in Lok Sabha. We want to express some of our concerns and also issue some appeal to the general public as well. As I said, this incident, as we have this case in hand, these three young women were trying to repair the AC in their rented house, and this worker came and they were trying to fix it. In the process, some debris and dust fell on the floors below them, and seemingly those owners of or the occupants of that room came up, and it started as a confrontation. It seems that these young women were trying to intervene because they have scolded the repairman initially. But then it turns into racial abuses and insulting people, calling names, and racist stereotypes have been thrown at them. Casting aspersions on their modesty and dignity of these three young women. And the police has filed an FIR invoking Section 79 and Section 351(2) and Section 3(5). And Section 196 against this culprit, and we demand that stern action should be taken against the culprit, even though this is not an isolated event. Exemplary action must be taken so that such kind of incidents are not encouraged or repeated in the future. Generally, one of the things that we have noticed over the years is that especially our young people from the region who either come here for education or for work, they have been subjected to this kind of discriminatory practices and violence. The general attitude among us tend to look at it as individual prejudices. These are not individual prejudices. This is deeply structural. This is a byproduct of larger exclusion of the regions. If you have heard my speech in Parliament, I have reminded this country that the Northeast has been removed from history textbook in school in this country. And so obviously you are breeding citizens with absolutely no respectable knowledge on the India's Northeast, because it's not part of your curriculum. So they become invisible, like a lot of people in this country. They have been marginalized in the process. The process of othering has created rooms for stereotypes to fill in. So that is why I said this cannot be reduced to an individual prejudice. This is a larger structural problem. Our girls have been looked upon through a lens where their sexual morality has often been questioned, including in this, wo bola gaya ki aap parlor kholo kind of things, that kind of a thing. And in anybody who has studied racism in this world will know that sexual morality is often used, and the body of the women is often used to humiliate a group of people. You see this in caste violence, you see this in religious violence, and unnecessary stereotypes have been thrown at these young women, including their dresses. And I have often said this, if the spaghettis and hot pants, mini skirts and all these things were only worn by girls and women from the Northeast, many of the shops and boutiques in Delhi and metropolitan cities in this country would have gone bankrupt long time back. We once know that everybody wears it, but you will have a specific stereotype on the girls and women from the Northeast. First of all, it is a choice of the women to decide what to wear, what not to wear, and nobody should have a right to pass comment on that, generally. And the second part is that, to specifically target Northeast, and I have said this before also, this is not unique. This is what the colonizers have done towards the native women. They tried to establish their moral superiority using sexual morality as a lens over the colonized subjects. Unfortunately, this kind of violence against the Northeastern women and girls is part of the remnants of racist ideologies and practices. And this must be squarely condemned, and we must also fight against this kind of discriminatory practices perpetrated against the women in the region. Luckily, the Delhi police has taken up actions on this, and I hope that they follow up their FIR and ensure that justice is done, and exemplary punishment is given to these culprits, so that such behavior is not encouraged in the future. That's the general thing, but we must also know, as I have already said, that this is a larger structural issues. The government, I expect them to take specific measures to deal with these issues. This has been going on for decades. I have already reminded you one of the notorious incidents that came into the national limelight, where again involving a young man from Arunachal Pradesh, Nidu Tania's case. This has been consistently happening everywhere. For a country who have suffered from racism, you must know Gandhiji experienced it when he was thrown out of the railway compartment in train, and that has sparked in him that resistance. We know about a contemporary experience of India in Australia or in Europe or in Americas, about Indian being denied, houses. No, they refuse to rent houses because your curry is smelling, kind of thing. Their cases have happened in the United Kingdom. You have cases of dot busters in Canada before. India continues to receive racial assault. So the country who have been at the receiving end of racism and racist attack should be sensitive that racism should not be part of our ethos. And I want to conclude this briefing with the fact that they have invoked this section, BNS Sections 196. It's rooted in our fundamental right, Article 15, which prohibits, if you recollect, any form of discrimination based on 5 categories. That is religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. That's Article 15. You must be aware that there is a well-known Bollywood production called Article 15. So there were 5 categories. For religion, we accepted that there can be discrimination based on one's religion, and that we often call it communalism. And for caste, we call it casteism. And for reason, we call it regionalism, regional biases based on place of birth. That's the region. And sex, in Article 15, would have sexism and sexist attitude towards women. But this country is, by and large, reluctant to accept that we have a race issue in this country. There is racist attitude among a lot of our sections. That's why our founding fathers have deliberately included race as a category in Article 15. So there is racism and racists, including what well-known American sociologist, proto-American sociologist called Edward Bonina Silva's well-known work, Racism Without Racists. Many of us may think that we are not racist, but our conduct, our behavior, our attitude is racist. It survives. It's the larger structural issues, exclusion, humiliation. This must be fought back, just as we recognize casteism in this country, just as we recognize sexism in this country. We must accept that there are serious race issues concerning particularly the people from India's northeast, and appropriate measures, including legislation, must be taken up in order to fight this racist onslaught. And this case that happened on February 20th should not be treated as an isolated incident, something to do with individual prejudices. This is more structural. And those are the things that we need to take care of it. Thank you. We'll take if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll end here.
How Indian government can help?
As I said,
First of all, what you would like to demand from the central union government, and second thing is how government can help fighting racism from northeastern people.
So that's I think we have suggested that first of all, we must acknowledge, and due acknowledgement must be given to Delhi police. They have taken up specific measures. They have opened up units to deal with this, because there is a large number of people, young men and women, either studying or working in Delhi and metropolitan cities like Bengaluru and Chennai and Hyderabad, Pune and so on. And I think rest of the others, they should also insist on developing similar measures. But as I said, that there must be legislations to deal with these issues. Anti-racist law, specifically with reference to people from India's northeast. These are exclusion. Racism and casteism, sexism, all these are forms of exclusions. Structural exclusion of these people, either you're excluded because you're a woman, you're excluded because you belong to so-and-so caste, or you are excluded because you come from that religion or this religion. So similarly, you are constantly excluding people. Government must ensure that people are well educated and know this country very well. And I give you this example. If you ask the general mainstream, so-called mainstream children about the longest empire or a kingdom, you will talk about the Mughals and so on. You will barely remember that the Ahoms have ruled for more than 600 centuries. They are Ninkauza dynasty who ruled Manipur for thousands of years. You barely know this, as I often tell you, that when I was educated back home in Manipur, during my school days, later on I went outside my home state to study. We know about Kushans and Cholas and Palas and, all these things are part of our history textbook. We barely studied our own history. Now that in our state, our history is taught. But in my generation, we are not taught. And rest of the country continues to ignore the history from the Northeast, and sometimes it is put as an appendix, as a footnote. No, it should not be done in this fashion. People should have the proper education and learn. That will solve a lot of these prejudices. And generally, especially among women, towards women, it is an intersection between our attitude towards women and coupled with race that produces double violence against women and girls from the Northeast. So these are some of the steps government can do by making sure that in the curriculum the Northeast has been properly introduced, not as a footnote, but as a legitimate part of history and school textbooks. And appropriate anti-racist law must be taken up by the government specifically to address the concerns of the people from India's Northeast. These are some of the things that we expect, but I am generally appealing to the masses in this country. We have issues of race and racist attack. This should not be taken as an isolated incident. This should not be reduced to individual prejudices. It's not a question of individual prejudices. It's larger structural issues. That's what I've been saying it. If Suponji wants to add anything.
Wait, please. I want to supplement one point. See, Government of India has given us, and then in the policy that the Northeast state should be in the Act East policy. Now, in that Act East policy, we want to go ahead, march ahead together, and the educational and the social and all advancements, but not like these harassments. When government policy clearly says that it is an Act East policy where we have to go ahead. But see, the Northeast states, we have the diversity of culture, customs, and social and religions. We have an equal respect of irrespective of any genders. Now, any harassments happens to our Northeast states. Sisterly states, we are sentimentally attached and we respect each other. So any kind of humiliations is intolerable for the Northeast states. At the same time, it is contrary that government has given the policy that the Northeast should be a special category and it has to be Act East policy. We were waiting for that, but instead of getting all these humiliations, it is not tolerable. So we have to fight with the government. We have to we have to ask a special attention, and then see once we respect each other. We all know that Northeast states is a very important states for our country. Government of India, we are in the border areas. Now, unless, as they have given the policy, unless they act seriously, I think the unity of the country will not come. And the North is also another, the states, which is a very important builders for these great nations. Yeah.
You were asking one question.
Will you bring this issue in second phase of budget session in Parliament?
Yeah, I'll definitely raise these issues. See, I have started in Delhi, I've started in Pune. You have personal experiences of these things, and you've been thinking for decades on this. I have taught in Delhi for long, and my students ranges from those from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, from Rajasthan, Gujarat से लेके Assam और Nagaland तक 30 साल से ज़्यादा मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ इधर, है ना? So I know how there are a lot of things structurally it happens in Bollywood practices. What the blacks people used to argue about, whitewashing and not giving even the character to be played by the black to the white men. We have seen it. You have celebrated. I had once spoken out against it on national media, if you remember, in 2014, on the choice of Priyanka Chopra for Mary Com's film. And then there's controversies around Akhuni. And a lot of people try to dismiss these things by saying, you are reading too much. But remember that when the films are made on Indian Air Force with this Sridevi's daughter, including Air Force reacted. It is concerned as the Northeast, then you tend to say, cinema hai bhai, kitna seriously kyun le rahe ho, kind of thing. But when it concerns with the representation of caste ke baare mein aa jata hai, ya koi religious community, Muslims or Hindu ke baare mein aa jata hai, to ek national mudda ban jata hai usme. And people including Air Force reacted, appropriate misrepresentation ke baare mein baat karega. Lekin when it comes to Northeast, you try to dismiss as personal prejudices or you're reading too much. That's the kind of a double standard that we have seen. There is a very well-known singer here who's of Manipur origin, John Noinam. He just put up on his social media how he still faces. He's a very popular. He is there in Delhi circuit or in many of the metropolitan cities. He was one of the most sought after singer. He even narrated his incident recently in Jaipur, usne kya experience kiya hai. So this is not an isolated incident. You must know what I'm saying it. And people should, basically it's education. That rest of the country ko yaad rakhna chahiye ki aap S.D. Burman ka gana sunoge, Bollywood ka jo legendary music director, वो नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न का बंदा था, वो त्रिपुरा का. उसका मदर जो है इज बोर्न ऑफ अ मैतेई मदर. हिज मदर वाज अ मणिपुरी. S.D. बर्मन, R.D. बर्मन का जो पिताजी है. जो जब आप गाना सुनोगे हिंदी फिल्म में, याद रहना चाहिए आपको, ये भी नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न का बंदा था, वो जो S.D. बर्मन साहब जो है. He is a prince from Tripura. His mother is a Manipuri, come from my community. So people don't know these things. You know, so you must understand these are larger issues. That's why I said racism is a form of exclusion. That's why I said. So you need to include, and there's larger issues. It should not be reduced to a personal prejudice. That's what I'm insisting on. Yes, please.
Professor Okaijam, you're also a professor in Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, and the Vice Chancellor's alleged casteist remark has also led to hundreds of student march in JNU. What's your stand in that regard?
You know, I have yet to see. I mean, I was trying to figure it out, what has gone on, you know, because though I have so many other concerns, I have an additional, but any casteist remark is condemnable, is unacceptable to me, as any racist remark would be. But this specific case, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm not very aware. I was told last evening that there are some strikes and classes are being cancelled. So I'll be going today or tomorrow to figure it out and talk to some other people. I just came to know. Once I have the full facts, I'll be able to give you. But generally, if a casteist remark, I will not endorse, obviously. It is condemnable. Anything else? No. All right. Thank you so much.